throw stuff in there. Well, look at that, throwing in the quick live. Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human record history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day. As long as they touch the football world, but not in that way. I am still Zach Razorlaw because I forget how to change my name in Twitter. And this is still no longer Sports by Sharona.
No,
Sorry, are you still Scarona, or you finally got rid of that?
no, I am Sharona Season. Sharona SZN. Sharona Season.
Tonight we'll talk about. Wait a
Oh,
second.
did they ever verify me? Probably not. Twitter stays hating on a
True.
playa.
Well, tonight we're going to talk about. Well, I feel like breaking into song. Rocket Top, you'll always be. Listen to misery. Good old Rocket Top. Woo!
Hey,
That was
listen,
fun.
it's gonna get us a new coat, so it's totally worth. We're not supposed to. We did an avatar bet, right? I'm ready to wear the avatar. I'll do it.
Yeah, I need to get a good one for you. Although I kind of don't mind. I almost want to do that Smokey wearing a blanket thing again because you know Smokey needs a safe
He
space
needs
right now.
love too. Poor Smokey. I bet Smokey's despondent.
But this is historical in the SEC.
Right?
So this is twice Missouri has defeated Tennessee, and after the game they fired their coach. And it was Derek Dooley in 2012 and Butch Jones, but Butch Jones was. I mean, it really was like the movie with the bad guy, and like the good guy shoots the bad guy, and the bad guy keeps walking around for a while, and you think, wait, did he get him? And then he falls down. You know, that's been Butch Jones. Like he's been fired all year, and it took Missouri's second straight record high victory in the SEC against supposedly a power team from the SEC East. I mean, I think the Sun Belt could probably take the SEC East this year, just by relative competition.
There's a lot of parity in college
It's a lot of shittery.
football. It's SEC is wild. It's always kind of wild, but it's pretty wild this year. I mean, look what happened with Georgia. It's just I haven't watched a lot of football over the past 3 weeks or so, but I was at my sister's house this weekend, and she was in control of the clicker, and so we were. She amazes me with her ability to click around. Excuse me,
Yeah,
pardon
there's
me.
like
So
55 games on it every time, right?
yeah, so we watched a little bit of several games, including the Georgia game and the Alabama game, and so yeah, it was interesting.
Yes, that's a different experience because I don't have like the cable package anymore. So when I was at my in-laws, it was all day college football. When I was at my parents' house, it was all day college football. And then like the Missouri game, and I was like, I could go to a sports bar and watch it, but ESPN
But
updates
why?
it. And my father-in-law said it perfectly. I think it was like 38-17 or whatever, and he was just like, I had enough of this. I'm going to sleep.
Oh yeah, and that's the Vols you fought. No wait,
Yeah,
yes,
father-in-law and a brother-in-law who are Tennessee fans, and
that's right.
they told me when
I
I
don't know
came
why
up,
I always want to think it's OBJ, but I know it's not, and
OBL, oh
I get
BL.
confused.
It's my
Yeah.
dad.
Oh, I mean OBL. I'm sorry, I got OBJ on the mind. So yeah,
You tell a lot about fandom by like who you grew up rooting for. Like my dad's from Pittsburgh. So Pitt won a national title in like 76 back when no one really cared. And, he knows they're going to go 7-5 every year. So it doesn't really, hit him that hard. My father-in-law with the national championship in his, 20 years ago, and T. Martin and all that, and Peyton.
Peyton.
So yeah, the thing that really struck me is that all they had to do was just, they ran the ball up the gut. Like you think this new high-paced kind of offense, and with Drew Lock, leading the country, I think in touchdown passes, like, oh, they just throw it all day. Well, they didn't have to. They averaged like 9 yards a carry with two running backs who are, guys who they would be laughed off the Tennessee campus if they tried to walk on. They just plowed them, and it was like, okay. I'm still confused though. Seriously, it's been 100 years since Missouri's had a team that's had a 4-game losing streak and a 5-game losing streak and a 4-game winning streak in the same season. This is a weird ass team. Just
Well,
unlike anything else. They could go 8-5 and they started 1-5 because they aren't playing anybody the rest of the year.
I
Vandy
know you put a
sucks.
50 burger. What was the final score again? 50 something to 17?
50-17.
50 to
First
17.
time
Okay.
Missouri scored 45 in 4 straight games. And I was just
Huh.
curious, like, how does this team stack up to one of like Missouri's best offensive teams? They had a team that scored 589 points in 2008, I think. So yeah, they're not topping that, but yeah, it's nice. I don't know. It feels good. Yeah, it's good.
Well,
If they finish up
congratulations.
strong, they'll go 4-4 in SEC. And that's I feel like that's an extension, right? In the
I,
SEC,
I,
you go
I,
four and
I
four.
I noticed how the announcers were fascinated with how long it had been since Butch Jones had won an SEC game.
How long had it been? Was it last year, right? It
It
had
was
to be
last year.
over.
It's like 360,
Ooh,
350 something. I don't know. They said it a bunch of times. I should remember. It was it was the stat of the game apparently because it was said many times, and I appreciated every one of them. I swear I did.
well, I was kind of laughing at the whole rumor about John Gruden, but I'm starting to get a feeling like he might actually give coaching another try. I don't think he's going to college because he never. Maybe he was a associate or something, but I don't think he ever really coached in college. He'll probably get back in the NFL. But yeah, who's the guy? I mean, Tennessee, are they going to be the number one top? I mean, Florida's open too, and I'm sure
Oh,
there's
did they
some.
fire Jim McElwain?
Yeah, he was fired before they lost to Missouri. That would have been nice. 2 straight wins over
Oh,
teams that fired coaches, but yeah, they dumped him. I think Florida's playing UAB this week, and UAB is like favored, so that's how bad Florida is this year.
wow. Well, they beat the Vols.
They did, yeah. I actually was looking. It's weird now to look at like bowl projections because to look at Missouri in a bowl was like laughable, but now they might play in what used to be called the Gator Bowl. Now it's the Tax Slayer Bowl, and they might play like Florida State. I'm like, Florida State, damn, Florida State will probably kick their butts, but Florida State's got a little SEC East-itis in them this year. Very talented, but they kind of fell apart. But that just happens, especially in college football. There's a lot of emotion behind it, and if a team doesn't have that, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
I would guess. But as someone who's backed off from sports, is it nice to kind of just look from above and see maybe you're checking out some of your Tennessee Vols fans going nuts, or does that
I
even register to you?
Well, it has been nice. This has been the most at peace that I've been in a long, long, long time. And so, yeah, it's been nice. But I haven't really been, I didn't get on Twitter very much. I was on there a little bit Saturday. Um, I think that a lot of Vols fans were just kind of over it and numb to it all. At least the ones that are,
Yeah, there's definitely over it to this.
yeah, in my little circle. So it's like, I don't think anybody thought they were going to win, so it was, I guess maybe anticlimactic is the word I'm looking for, but um, it was a very peaceful weekend, it's been since our last show, quite a very peaceful week for me. So I'm, yeah, I'm
Well,
grateful.
anybody needs peace, it's you. So you having a beverage this evening, or
I
you're
am.
taking me on Nicaragua?
I have after this one that I'm drinking, this is the part of the birthday beer, this nitro that I got. It's
Oh, is
okay. It's
that
a
the milk stout?
milk
Yeah.
stout. Yeah, it's a milk stout. So it's okay. I was gifted some alcohol over the weekend, and I was kidding around with Zach, but it's true. I celebrated the Miss Jones firing with a Smirnoff Ice, which is a little underrated, I think. kind of, I quite kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
Well, I think those beverages are just kind of sweet. They're almost like mixed drinks in beer form, but then they have a
Mhm.
sneaky amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
But good for
So,
you in the stout. See, the local magazine Pace, they do these beer reviews, and they did a review of stouts that were below 8%. So there are a lot of milk stouts on there. I think the left hand actually finished in like the top 10. So that's good. There were just a lot of coffee stouts, and I'm sure you'd probably go thumbs up to that. And I'm like,
I like coffee stouts a lot better.
Might have to pass on the one I got to you then.
I think you got to get up to get down as a milk stout too. I sort of enjoy it, but yeah, I like the coffee stouts. I'm going to the next time. I'm not going to buy any beer for a while or get any beer for a while, but I think I'll probably look for something a little bit lighter next time. Maybe go back to a lager. Or, I don't know. Maybe Zach will give me some recommendations of, a lighter beer that maybe I'll try his mango, strawberry, nutcracker,
Ooh.
whatever.
Well, that tough kitty from
Just let me
Boulevard is
give
a good
you
milk stout right there, and that's in your flavor profile. I know your flavor profile. I
let me
probably
give
could give
you
you a sour beer and
one
you'd be like, it's okay.
let me give you one word of warning. Do not, under any circumstances, suggest anything pumpkin related
Mm.
for me. All right, we'll
Yeah,
be good.
I kind of quit on pumpkin. The only pumpkin beer I've had that I really liked in a long time was Jody Smith sent me Pumpkinator, which is from St. Arnold's in Houston. He
Okay.
sent me like 3 years of bombers. And apparently there's a barrel aged version. Of course, everything's got to be barrel aged, right? In my life, I like to maybe try that one, but the rest, yeah. I mean, even I think it was Pumpkin at a rum barrel version. I was like, maybe, but that season's kind of over. Although I do have I still have an Oktoberfest here. That's my follow up beer from. So basically, Sierra Nevada just hires a brewery in like Germany, and they make the beer and they send it over, and they have it, and it's very
Awesome.
it's a it's a nice in the middle. When last time I was in Nashville, my dad was like, "What happened to just normal beer?" Well, the Oktoberfest is kind of in that range, and this Matilda I'm having is kind of like a table beer. It's a little bit bitter. It's fine. It's a Wednesday night beer, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes you need a Wednesday night beer.
sure.
Sure, like the agreement. Yes, and that's what you do. So, what are your thoughts on the quasi-sexual relationship that the NFL and the United States military has going on? It was quite a display we had last weekend with just love for the military and the flag and all that. All the anthem protests kind of stopped, even though they really didn't have anything to do with the flag at the beginning. And they're hawking all the camouflage kind of gear in the sideline and that stuff. And I think the military pays the NFL. I don't remember how it all works out, but it's a nice symbiotic relationship. I was just kind of curious if you had thoughts.
Yeah, it's my thoughts are fairly layered on that because I definitely think that the military deserves recognition, and at least part of that all kind of started, um, if I remember right, as almost like a recruiting tool for them because recruiting was down and the numbers were down and they were really wanting to help fill the ranks, and it's kind of a cyclical thing with that. I mean, obviously it allows the NFL, as it does with a lot of things, to wrap itself up in there in an effort to hide a lot of its fundamental flaws. The whole thing about the pay for patriotism thing is pretty gross to me. I hope that is gone now after once it was revealed that that was a thing. But yeah, it. I think that we've seen, hopefully a lot of people have seen. I think some people don't have the ability to recognize things for what they are, but I hope that we've seen some of the dangers that are that are that can be present when a private enterprise attempt, a pseudo private enterprise attempts to wrap itself up in the flag and in patriotic things for reasons that are purely profane.
Well, there's this talk of, the players who are kneeling, like not respecting the flag. I mean, I think according to the rules of the flag, you're not supposed to display it the way it's displayed on the field, those giant flags they put on sometimes in the shape of America for some reason.
You're not supposed to wear it as a bandana. You're not supposed to wear it as a bathing suit.
I
You're not.
was
I mean.
I was walking around my office today and I saw a guy wearing like socks that had the U.S. flag on them, and you see people wearing U.S. flag kind of shirts and stuff, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, that's kind of a neither here nor there, but it's not a good relationship in a way. It's like, yes, you should recognize, people who actually sacrifice, but then for a lot of people who are in the military, it's just a job and they didn't have many other opportunities. I was just thinking they're selling all this NFL gear, and I'm
Definitely a lot of
wondering,
people go into the military for the GI benefit, the GI Bill, the educational benefits of it all. And sometimes they find themselves thrust into a war that, I mean, the one guy who walked off the battlefield and who just escaped, and I know a lot of veterans were upset about that. I forget his name, but you remember that was a story about
it was
like a
like
week.
His name was so
Yes.
close to Benghazi that
I
it was
know, it's
confused, like
crazy.
Bergdali or something. It actually was, I think, what was that? One of those popular podcasts was kind of telling the whole story of what happened to him, and yeah, there's those stories come out. I just think the way veterans are kind of treated is like a prop, and then it puts them up on
Yeah.
this pedestal, kind of like the whole Blue Lives Matter, like police are above reproach, like, oh, military people are above reproach, and then the people who don't pay for their benefits when they have PTSD and all that stuff, they become part of the beyond reproach. And I was thinking, like, okay, so the NFL's selling all this gear with like this military stuff on it. Are these clothing items produced in a country that we've either bombed or a country that we're currently occupying, because we have our military in like every country in the world? This weird irony. Like, I mean, you should support the people. Like Rashard Matthews has that connection. Like a lot of NFL players, a lot of people in the United States have connection with people in the military because we have so many people in there. You should give them that moment and all that. But then the fact that it's kind of backed by just dollars, and then it is this odd recruiting tool, it becomes a little dark. And I was also thinking of like Pat Tillman, like being thrust as this Captain America, like he loved the military. It's like, well, yeah, he joined the military after 9/11 because he was wanted to be patriotic, and then he was killed in battle, and they pretended that he was like this hero, and then he got killed by his own
Cover up. Yeah.
guys, and they still like pretend that he's on this Fox News fake side of things, and it's just, even his widow, and they still I think are there's still like a foundation going on, that kind of stuff. For like, no, this is not what he would have believed. Like Pat Tillman probably would have said thumbs up to what Colin Kaepernick was doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's.
He definitely would have been against it. That's doesn't mean now that you have to be like 100% behind it or 100% against it.
No, but how many veterans or current military personnel have to come out and say, this is why I joined, this is why I fight for someone's right to protest? And I mean, there really is, this country was so founded on that. And um, we live in interesting times. I know every generation says that, but we really do.
Yeah, it seems like we're in a very pivotal time at the moment, and it doesn't seem like the pivot is going in a good direction. I like this. See, we're both grabbing the beer at the same time.
Synchronized drinking.
So I like to do interview shows so I can drink.
I could definitely participate in that sport.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, the reason I didn't want to go to like a sports bar to watch Missouri, Tennessee was that I was saving myself for Sunday. I actually decided to walk over to like the local bar, the one that's like a quarter
Yeah.
mile from my house, and watch the Titans Bengals game. And there's definitely something different to the sports bar experience. It's different than any other way of watching the game. It's way different than being at the game, and it's definitely different than sitting on your couch by yourself. Um, although it wasn't, it's funny. Like you go and basically it's like a restaurant and a bar, but they seem like they have the exact same employees that have been there for like 10 years, like as long as I've lived in this house. And there's the one guy who's like a Patriots fan, always recognizes me, and the same people working there, and it's like an older crowd.
So
So
it's like Cheers.
I'm on the younger edge of people that were there, but the best part was like I sat down and 2 seats away from me, there was a woman who's like a Steelers fan, and she was so pissed off. She was such the Steelers fan because like in that first half of the Colts game, they're just getting their ass handed to them. And Ben sucked, and she's like, "Put me in there. I'm 5'1" and I'll do better than they're doing."
That's
And
funny.
she got mad and paid her bill and left. And she, could have considered herself, she like set the tone because the team, of course, came back to win. And I got to watch the Titans have their like typical, the offense works really well at times. And then other times it's absolutely terrible. And they go 3-and-out and like basically run up the gut for 2 yards every down. And then they're able to come back, and like the defense in general plays well, but then they give up some big plays. They make Brandon LaFell look like Tyreek Hill. I
I
mean,
picked up
Brandon
Brett.
LaFell crushed them.
I picked up Brandon LaFell because I knew that would happen,
I hope you
and
played him because
I hope I did
he
too. I
ran
haven't
like this
looked.
end around play, and I was like, I didn't think Brandon LaFell was that athletic, but man, he just ran through the defense like he was nothing, and
I saw 3 plays
two
from that game.
touchdowns that were
I saw
just nobody was covering anybody. Anyway,
I
you
saw
talk.
3 plays from that game, and one of them was the AJ Green touchdown, like in the fourth quarter. At which point, I thought they were dead in the water. I thought that was it. They're toast. Their history. So I was kind of surprised to see that they actually came back and won that game. And it's just so obvious to say it, but it's really a good sign for them that they're able to do that at times. When they can consistently do it, then you'll think maybe they're on the way to being what they could be or should be.
Well, I mean, what I remember from the 2008 team, since it's so long in our past, is that
It's like a whole
when
lifetime ago.
when the defense would like give up a score, the offense would drive down the field and like tie it up or take the lead.
Yeah.
And in the last, 3 games, they've had the game-winning drive. I mean, against Cleveland, it was like this field goal drive, and it was man, what a dirge of a game it was. But against Baltimore, they had cut it to 3, and then it was almost the exact same game, the Baltimore and the Cincinnati game. They scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the first half, but at Baltimore, they missed an extra point. In the second half, they had 1 drive, and beside that 1 drive, they did absolutely nothing. Well, actually, they actually had another drive, but Sharona's favorite player, Corey Davis, catches a slant across the middle, and it's like he's scoring a touchdown, and he gets shoved really hard, and the ball comes out, and you can tell like right away that's going to be called a fumble and a turnover, and whew, it was one of those games you're like the Titans are better, but they definitely can blow this because they got a turnover with 2 minutes to go in the
Yeah.
first half on Dalton, like made him fumble. And the next play, Mariota has this once a week. He has to make 1 throw. It's just absolutely dumb. It's like right to the defender, and you're like, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I mean, the only good part about it was it let Joe Mixon score a touchdown. He's on my fantasy team. I know. I'm going to hell. It's okay. It's all
Oh,
right.
he's on. No, I've got it. I don't know if I played him or not. Excuse me.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They're able to win those games, but I mean against the shitty Bengals and Ravens and Browns, I mean how good are the Titans? I still think not so good.
we're gonna find out. They had this nice streak of like home games, so they're playing 4 out of the next 5 on the road. So they're playing the Steelers. I think they're playing at the Colts. I know the Rams are in there somewhere. The Rams are like the best team they have left to play, which is weird. But they're also playing
The
the
Jeff Fisher effect.
Cardinals. They're playing the Cardinals and the 49ers, which, should be good. I'm very excited. This is a very random fantasy football thing, but Missouri's own Blaine Gabbert, he's the guy I picked up in Scott Fishbowl when Deshaun Watson got hurt. And I had to a tear had to go down my, cheek when it happened. But quarterbacks are, because it's 2 quarterback league, basically,
Hmm.
there's nobody there. And the funny thing is, I think Ryan Hester, who's a football guys, and I've chatted with him a few times, he made the exact same move in Scott Fishbowl. And now this week, Gabbert is starting. I think I have Gabbert and Nathan Peterson in that league, or Peterman,
I
whatever
did.
his name is.
I did see Peterman. I did see that news, and I was like, "Oh, the Bills are benching Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman." Boy, am I so glad that that.
Oh,
Boy, am I so glad that I gave the NFL the middle finger.
I really want to make a low ball offer to the poor guy who has him in my dynasty league, because I think next year maybe it's a situation where he comes back. But somebody actually showed stats of his stats of throwing to wide receivers, and his stats were pretty similar to Mariota. It's like the Bills had a bad week, and basically they got run over by the Saints, and they're like, yeah, let's bench our quarterback when he has no receivers, and the offensive line kind of sucks. you know,
I mean,
it's sad, but it shows you in
I
this
would
league,
not want to be a black quarterback in the National
it
Football League.
kind of,
Mean, if I ever come back, there's a long laundry list of things I would like to be. A black quarterback in the National Football League is at the end of the list.
poor Cam Newton and his outfits after games, man, people just cannot get over that. Just so, yeah. Maybe we should say pour one out for Tyrod, because clearly it was so weird, because the Bills, I think, could have let him go, but then they gave him that little kind of half-assed extension, similar to the kind of contract Kaepernick got, and Andy Dalton has, the one where you can get rid of him every year.
I
Not the
mean,
contract Joe Flacco has, by the way.
he would instantly make the Texans a much better football team.
Yeah, but there's something to be said for waiting on quarterback, because in my dynasty league, I had Cam Newton, and I managed to pick up Josh McCown and Jacoby Brissett, and thinking, oh, those guys will back up Cam Newton. Well, they had the exact same bye week, and I was like, oh man, I'm screwed. And I kept waiting, and I knew I was going to make a dumb trade to pick up a backup quarterback. And 2 weeks ago, I picked up Blaine Gabbert, and last week I picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I actually have a choice between two, starting quarterbacks. I started Ryan Fitzpatrick in that Jets-Bucks game, and what a letdown. Everybody expected that to be this crazy high-scoring game, and it was 15-10, and nobody did anything fantasy-wise of note, and it was just a disaster. I started Cameron Brate, who had 1 catch for 10 yards.
So did I hear correctly? Did someone in this chat room beat Zach Law in the Scotty Fishbowl?
Yeah, you did beat me a couple weeks ago. It seemed like early in the year you were saying that your Scott Fishbowl team was not so good, but I looked in the standings, and you're definitely ahead of me. I started strong. I don't know, this year. Last year I had the magic formula, and this year
My team was not.
bad.
I sacrificed week 1.
That's right. You kept adding quarterbacks, which
I
need to.
sacrificed week 1 because Jay Cutler I knew was the best option I was going to have to replace, excuse me, Andrew Luck. And so I was like, I'm
That's
gonna
the
have
worst
to.
sentence you can say. Jay Cutler is my best option.
I
But
know, right? And so,
starting
but I,
quarterback with a pulse in the NFL is valuable.
but I knew Mitchell. I knew Mitchell Trubisky would be starting at some point. Carson Wentz has been on fire. He's so. The struggle was real in the beginning, because I was trying to make up for that bad Andrew Luck pick. But yeah, since then it's been. Do you know what my record is?
Well, better than mine, because I actually had a good record to start. Now I'm 4-6. I think you're 6-4.
Oh, okay, cool.
We should definitely
I'm
turn it around.
I'm above 500 in most every league that I'm in except Yahoo, and that team sucks so bad.
I had the second pick, and I took
And I
David
really thought
Johnson, and
that
I'm
team would
so
be
sad.
good. I'm so upset. I really thought my Yahoo team would be good, but it's not. I've got two teams that really suck. That one and my Carolina Panthers league, my C3 league. That team sucks really too. So
Yeah.
my team name is prophetic. There, it's my team looks good on paper. Yeah.
Well, I was told that I had the worst team by Yahoo, and then I led the league in scoring, and now I've lost three in a row. And I went to bed. I was up like 15, but my opponent had McCaffrey and Jarvis Landry, and I guess Jarvis Landry had a garbage time touchdown, and he
Mm.
actually came back to beat me. I mean, I really the week before I lost because it was Crabtree versus Cooper, and Cooper had like one more catch, and it was one. I think actually Crabtree got a pass interference in the end zone. If he had caught that, I would have won. And that's but my team. When you have Watson leave, you had OBJ and Dalvin Cook. Last week I was really struggling, and well, my tight ends are so terrible. But I
Oh,
did
I
get
need to. What's
I
up
did
with
get
Will
Rex
Fuller?
Burkhead. I
I saw
felt
Will Fuller's hurt.
I felt warm inside when I saw that like everybody predicted Rex Burkhead to score like 6 points last week, and he had scored like 12 points in the first minute of the game. I was like, yes, thank you. But it was just it's fluky, if you're like Safarian Jenkins, who I've had on my team all year, like he had his season high in yards this week. He had 60 yards, but he scored touchdowns, which gives him, value and PPR and all that. But tight end is just a disaster this year.
Yeah.
And of course, I actually drafted really good receivers in this league, and now I actually got Jared Goff. We'll see. Jared
Huh?
Goff against Minnesota. I'm intrigued. But yeah, it was the sports bar. I mean, the place I went to, it's not like the sports bar where there are like 50 TVs. There's like this bar, and you have to kind of look down, and you can see like three TVs. And if you get there on time, you can get one of the TVs to your channel. So you can see about 5 games, and then you're like looking to your left, looking to your right. It's really hard, still hard to keep up. But
Did
you
Don
know,
send questions this week? Hi, Don.
Don didn't send any questions at the punk. I
Did
don't know
you
what
let him
happened
know
to him.
that I answered his questions last week?
I did. I think he was happy to see you, open up about
Oh,
semi-sports related issues. I mean, it's all sports related, right?
you're the best, Don.
But
Life
I
is
want,
interconnected.
I want this to be a good game because the Steelers and the Titans have had some interesting history. And again, I miss because it's such a weird schedule this year. The Titans are playing the 4 AFC North teams in a row this year. And they used to be in the AFC Central, and they had these rivalries. They had the rivalries with these teams since the 60s. And they moved them over to the AFC South, and they don't get to play them all the time. They don't play the Steelers every year like they used to. And so it's a big deal. And now it's a Thursday night game, and they're actually both with a winning record. It's probably been a while since that's happened. I'm guessing 2008 might have been the last time that they both played with a winning record. Because in 2008, the Steelers and the Titans played, and had a bunch of family come into town, and the Titans beat them to get the number 1 seed. And
What
then they
what
played the
year?
Ravens. Oops.
What wasn't that the year of the terrible towel debacle?
Yeah, Lendell White stomped on the towel. Oh no, the sacred object is a towel. Every team is a towel.
Lindell
It would
White,
break
Javon
people.
Curse, and Keith Bullitt were all wiping their butts or stomping on or blowing their nose on the towel. It did give the Titans a curse. I stand by that.
Well, all you need to know about the Titans' history is the last time the Titans won a home playoff game, they beat the Steelers. I was not married yet. I've
Oh,
been
wow.
married 14 years last month. Just saying, it's been a while. Actually, I think I'll have to look this up. When the Ravens were in town, I'm like, I think the Ravens have won as many playoff games in Nashville as the Titans have. That's
Hmm.
not good. Just saying. But I do remember that game because that was the Joe Nedney game, and
Mm.
my wife, our now wife, said he better not miss that field goal, and he missed it, and they went to overtime, and then he missed it, and they had that late hit on him, and the fireworks went off, and then he finally made it, and we're all just like, I'm glad this is over because cold and the sun had gone
Was that the
down.
one? There was one time there was a teeny tiny tad bit of acting involved. Was that
I
it?
think Nedy acted better than he kicked because I mean the guy like just barely touched him with a hand and he fell down like like a soccer player or
The
something.
only time, well, I have booed two players in my lifetime. Can you guess who they are? It was not Joe Nedney, but we're close on one of them. And I bet if you thought hard enough, you could.
So what? Ray Lewis and or is it a Titans player?
My own players.
Who's the kicker who missed all those field goals against the Ravens? That was
Al Del Greco. I
because
booed
I
the
think
shit out of that
he might
motherfucker.
be still like the all-time leading scorer for the franchise, although it actually probably is Baronis. It might be at this point, but yeah,
Ryan Succop's
he
got
had
to
a
be
year.
close now.
He had a year. Del Greco, like where he missed like one field goal or something, and then in the Ravens game he missed like three kicks and one was blocked and returned for a touchdown. But that was Ravens. Screw them. I'm talking
No
about the
regrets. I
Steelers.
booed the shit out of him. Who's the other one? He was a Titan. I'll even give you he was a Titan and a Vol.
Titan and of all. Justin Hunter? No. I don't know who else. I should have.
Albert Hainsworth, who stomped on Al
Oh my
Jarreau's
gosh, I was at that
head.
game. That was so weird. That was the first sign. That was a smart move by the Titans. They basically like franchised him and they maxed him out. And then once like he was going to get paid, they were like, "Go away, we'll take your competition pick," which by the way they wasted. But hey, they got one.
It was on some
They drafted a
mediocre
linebacker
ass
out of
wide
Georgia
receiver,
who
I'm
didn't
sure.
even make it more than 2 years, which is sad. When you get a competition third round pick, you should do something. But they've done that twice.
Who was
They
it? Who
drafted
did
a
they?
they drafted a linebacker out of Missouri with the other one they got, and he sucked too. So
He wasn't
Xavier
that
Gooden.
bad. I liked Zach Gooden.
I mean, I think he's part of that Chance Warmack class where like everybody on the team was gone in 4 years. They were just bad. There's been some bad. I mean, I think of like in Titans Steelers lore, it was the first game of 2009, and the Steelers had won the Super Bowl the year before, which, by the way, should have been the Titans Super Bowl. And then they go to Pittsburgh, and in the first half, they play pretty well. In the second half, the Steelers like figured out the Titans didn't have defense anymore, and it was like Hines Ward fumbled, and they went to overtime and they won, and that was like, oh, you know what? Titans might not be good this year, and it turned out they weren't good that year. But they lost in Pittsburgh, and yeah, the games haven't been that interesting. There was like a Monday night game I went to that was Mettenberger actually had a pretty good first half, but then the
Oh
Steelers
yeah.
Steelers came back, and my cousin was there with his two kids, and they were freezing their butts off, and we were just like, let's go. This is it wasn't good, but it's gonna say something. I think the
I
Steelers
was
are
at
seven
that
and
was
two,
I was
Titans are
at that
six and
game. That
three.
was one of the infamous games where your phone charger didn't work or something.
Uh huh.
That was one of the coldest damn games outside that Denver game, that Christmas night Denver game that was so fucking cold a few like several years ago. But that game was cold too. It was so cold my drink froze in my cup.
Yeah, I just remember that because we went to a friend's house and they were like, they're actually like cooking outside, but I just left my beer outside because it stayed cold because it was really, really cold. And yeah, we kind of knew in that point they were both so bad. That was the year they were like, can we suck so we can get a top draft pick and, get a quarterback? And I actually forgot to bring up, I think I saw this was like a Wall Street Journal story about the Titans, and they
Mhm.
showed that they like graded the amount of draft picks that a team put to help their quarterback. And like in the last 15 years, the Titans and Mariota, they have the highest rating of picks they've put to help him on offense. Like, the taking Conklin and then taking the two receivers and a tight end this year, which Sharona loves. Sharona's like, wow, Marshawn Lattimore at 5. That would have been nice, huh? Oops. That kind of thing. The team could have used a cornerback, huh?
They could have used a cornerback. I mean, I wanted them to draft CJ Mosley,
Right. Oh, he's good.
He's very good.
But I don't know, man. Dory Jackson. I mean, maybe I don't know if he's ever like he has that number one cornerback upside, but he played 7 snaps on offense, and I mean, they put him in there a lot. And they actually had some good plays. They had the play where they faked it to him, and then Mariota threw it to wide open Rashard Matthews, who just bloop, dropped it. That was one of those touchdowns, and he had like 2 20-yard, like a 20-yard run, like a first down. And there's one play where Mariota basically like threw it to him and got crushed by guess who? Pac-Man Jones. Note to say, thank you, Vontez Burfict, for helping the Titans, because if he hadn't run into that ref, they might have not scored in that first drive. So thank you, Vontez, for being Vontez.
Oh, did that happen? I don't.
There was like a play where
Vontaze is gonna
barely
Vontaze.
touched the guy out of bounds, and they threw a flag, and then he made contact with the ref, and they kicked him out. And the Titans would have had like third down, and instead they had like first and goal to 1, and it was a guaranteed, touchdown. It was the first week, I think, all year that I actually picked right between Murray and Henry. I actually started Murray, and he scored 3 touchdowns, which was very nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, and they, of course, are highlighting this because they're going to do that weird sky. They're going to have 2 of those sky cam things. You're going to be like looking in from behind the quarterback and that kind of stuff. And I think both the Titans and the Steelers, you think on paper their offenses should be better. Clearly the Steelers, because they have Bell and they have Brown, but then like Juju is actually playing the role they thought Martavis would, and Martavis Bryant's still on there. So it seems like they should be scoring like 35 a week, but they're not, and they struggle.
Was he active last week or not?
He was on the field, and I think he may have scored a 2-point conversion or something, so he played some. It's one of those, now you look back like fantasy-wise, and I was like, sometimes I'm like, why didn't I get Adam Thielen in any of my leagues? And then it's like, oh, I didn't get Martavis Bryant in any of my leagues, so I got lucky in that way. Because I remember the hype about, he's like a 4th or a 5th round pick.
I avoided Martavis Bryant.
That didn't go so well. Yeah, exactly. Problem is I did over and not, but as usual, I think I brought up like 4 out of the 5 already topics. But let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. We can do it.
All right.
So over it or not, well, you brought up Smirnoff Ice, but what can you tell the story about the hand and why you've earned the Smirnoff Ice? This isn't really over it or not. Over it or not, okay. Your sister's dog.
So my sister's dog bit me. You can kind of see my little boo-boo there. I just took the Band-Aid off like late yesterday evening, and it looks like it might be getting a little, I need to clean it out. Looks like it might be getting a little. So my sister's dog is getting older now. He's a little bitty, feisty little thing. And he really can't help himself. So we were, hanging out and bonding and stuff, and he just gets all these emotions and he doesn't know what to do with them, and so he ended up biting me twice. There's another little bite there, and so he got put up very quickly, and so it was okay, and we made up, and it's all right. But my nephew's ex-girlfriend had left some alcohol. My nephew doesn't drink, and she had left some alcohol in. My sister and her husband have been redoing their house. It's been a long process, and now they're working on his bedroom because he's away at college. And so they found a box of alcohol in his closet from his ex-girlfriend, and it was gifted to me, which it had Smirnoff Ice. It was such a redneck weekend for me. It had Smirnoff Ice, some of that Seagram's, something or another, and a bottle.
Oh man, my cousin would be so happy. Fireball. That's like, I think Fireball is the reason why I don't like any beer with cinnamon in it. It's just flavor all after that.
It's nasty. I
We were
mean, it's just nasty. But anyway, it's sitting. It's sitting there. So yeah,
really need to like
I get that.
fake do a shot of that because it was so bad. Yeah.
And then I got home, and it's like an adventure coming back home and wondering what the cats have gotten into, what I'm going to have to fix that the cats have gotten into, because I've come home and like the TV in my bedroom's been knocked over and
Wow.
almost knocked off. But this time it was, pardon me, this time it was the sound bar for the TV in the living room. And so the sound on the TV wasn't working. I had actually gone in there on Sunday, later Sunday when I got home, and I thought that I might watch a little, maybe watch a little football, but I couldn't get the sound to. I finally, it's fixed now. I got it fixed. I had to put it back together, and I finally got it fixed, but it wasn't working for a couple of days, and I was cussing them like, like. So it's always something. Those shitheads.
So don't leave the kitties. Hmm.
They're wild. I mean, they're just wild. Iggy's the only one in here, and she's like looking around, like, what's she talking about?
Well, we'll be leaving our cats for a week, so we'll see how that goes. They don't. Well, they're actually okay because they have, their temporary mom come by, the cat sitter, to drop off food twice a day. So they're taken care of quite well. They don't mind, but we'll see. Yeah, we're going to foreign country. Although it's
It'll
gonna
be
be very,
fun. You'll have fun.
very Americanized version. It's a resort in Cancun area, so all inclusive. I bet they might have Smirnoff Ice. We're gonna find out.
I bet they do. I've been to an all-inclusive. It's really the way to go.
Well, it's nice because I
Highly
think
recommend.
8 pools and something like 7 bars. And I was reading a review, and they're like, "Well, they don't start serving alcohol till 10, and that's a problem." Like 10, huh? Can I wait till 10 in the morning to start drinking? I think could probably pull that off. Although, I don't know what the internet situation is. I did remember when the last time when I'm on the Gulf Coast, I like to do a Facebook Live video every morning of me drinking a beer at like 9, just because I can. And so we'll see if we can keep that
Yeah, you
tradition
have to
going.
pay. Or you
I do
did.
believe we get Wi-Fi, so watch out, people. Although really, in a way, I kind of being unplugged won't be bad. So not doing
Being
any,
unplugged can be good.
not a terrible thing. So over it or not, Colin Kaepernick and GQ.
I have not had a chance to read that. Um, it's
So haven't most of America. It's okay.
so I think there's a good article that came out. Is there anything that I'm missing because I haven't? I've been very much unplugged.
All I saw is there was backlash to it. I'm like, well, who pays
Uh,
attention to GQ ever? It's just that he was named like their Citizen of the Year. I'm like,
oh
maybe
yes,
they've
yes,
announced that before, but I have a feeling it's never gotten as much attention as this because he always gets attention.
yeah.
But it's yeah,
That people, that Americans legitimately seem to hate him. I think that really says a lot about this country.
it's not really good things, but it's we're getting the light out there, and people are getting to finally see some people for who they really are. We'll take
Yeah.
that for good or bad. Okay, so I sent you this link and this article in Deadspin, and I gotta see, the formal reaction.
Oh,
So
you
the
did?
story about the teen girl posing as a dude to write about
Oh,
baseball
yes,
and
you
harass women,
did.
you posted that to Twitter, so you at least read the headline.
I know I
So
read it. I'd
how'd it
forgotten
go?
about it, but
You forgot. It's
I,
back now.
I was like, I don't even know how to process that. On so many levels, I don't know how to process that. Like, and if you're watching, you're not familiar, you just check my feed. I haven't been tweeting a lot, so it'll be a lot easier to find it than normal. But yeah, like she was 13 when she started posing as a male sports writer. And and here's the thing, like a lot of these places getting okey doked by these fakes. It happened to Broadly, had like a couple of them. One who was feeding articles and information to Milo. It's like anyway, yeah, it's journalism. The media is very interesting.
It was like how many years? It was like 8 years or something. And she was using it to be like the stereotypical guy and like harass women too. The fact that
She
happened as
was
well.
involved in relationships with a lot of women. Apparently, a lot of women thought, I mean, legitimately that she was a man, because when all this Me Too started, I guess his name was on that media list, and anyway, it's kind of crazy. It's nuts, is what it is. We live in nutso time.
Here's another story that we'll see how much knowledge you have on this one. But
Uh,
so over it or nah, UCLA basketball.
None, no knowledge.
So the US UCLA basketball team was doing a tour of China, and three of their
Oh
players got
yes, yes,
arrested
yes.
for shoplifting.
One of
And
the baller
apparently, thanks to
brand.
our strong leader, who sounds like can't drink from a bottle of water without looking weird, helped get them out of trouble. But yeah, that was a weird story. It's like, if you're gonna shoplift, maybe that's not something it's not on my bucket list to do when I'm in Mexico. And when you're in
I assume that those
China,
I assume those guys didn't
maybe.
play.
Yeah, well, they've been suspended, but that's all I've heard of the story. I really have no detail, but the fact that kind of popped up was like, yeah, it sounds like something that would happen. Hmm.
Yeah, see, when I was like struggling with this whole walking away from sports and what have you, I was like, well, but I mean, that whole LeVar Ball, and I feel sorry for his kids. Feel really, really, really sorry for his kids. But the LeVar Balling of the NBA means there's no fucking way I'll ever be a fan of that league. And so, yeah, I just, anyway, color me shocked.
Hmm. And I don't know if this is an over or not, but I'll just throw it out there. How about Roy Moore?
Oh my God. Um, how many of these dudes were hiding out in bright light? Everybody seemed to know that he was dating teenage girls. Everybody seemed to know, that this dude was, probably legitimately a bad dude, and yet he's deciding I mean, Donald Trump has nominated a blogger who has no practical legal experience for the federal bench. I mean, we're doomed. We're just doomed.
Yeah, Roy Moore was like, it's weird. How many jobs are there that you get to be called the title when you get fired from them? Like, if you were ever a coach at college football, you're always called coach, even if you're not a coach anymore. And they call him judge, even though he's been like disbarred twice because he's a theocrat. I don't know why he isn't just like a mega preacher. I mean, because he wouldn't have to deal with anything. But it shows, yeah, the polarization. It's like, oh, when Harvey Weinstein, all his issues. Oh, look at the lefty. It's like, yeah, he lost his company and he's getting attacked constantly, and like negative things have happened. Roy Moore, it's like, it happened 40 years ago. And you know what we should do? We should attack the people who are accusing him, because that'll make sure women never feel safe ever. I mean, just slap us all now because of that. The fence. Even some Republicans in like Congress are like saying, yeah, we don't really want him anymore. So we'll see how it goes. There's a 50-50 chance he still wins. Yeah, we're at a stage where it's like people who are running for political office, it's okay to like laugh them down and just not take them seriously, right? That is possible, right? No, not so much.
I don't know. It's, I mean, I wish that it's money controls so much, and um, I don't remember who tweeted this, but I saw a kind of prophetic and pretty interesting tweet about that whole situation. And it's like, I mean, the brainwashing that Fox News and, um, you know, the certain members of the GOP and all of that they have done on a part of this populace is pretty frightening to me. That people would look at the Roy Moore situation and be okay with it because he's a Republican. The hypocrisy is pretty frightening.
It's
It
yeah, it's
really
pretty much a matter of like, okay, I'm against this thing, but then someone you agree with on other stuff is in favor of it or been seen doing it. Then you find out it's like, well, if you're gonna condemn the person, you're gonna be like, well, he might do some. I don't even know what the hell good Roy Moore could possibly do. This guy in politics is everything that's wrong about politics is him. He needs to just, definitely go away. Go away. It's kind of like Butch Jones, but Butch Jones will be going to the. I don't know what is he owed, $8 million. It's nice money.
good gig if you can get it.
Exactly.
Sure, he and Jeff Fisher will be fishing somewhere together.
So will you be live tweeting tomorrow night when the Titans take on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know. I don't know. I've kind of taken things daily, and it was like I'm kind of enjoying this aura of peace that has, kind of enveloped me, has surrounded me since sort of stepped away and took a I've taken kind of mini breaks before and have kind of tried to to step back and have breathers, but to go full out and just pull myself away from it has, I think, been one of the best decisions that I've made in a long time, because it it's been very refreshing and invigorating and very healing for me.
So me saying, "Hey, do you want to watch the game tomorrow night?" is kind of like someone in AA being said, "Hey, I want you to just have one drink."
I wouldn't put it
Because
exactly
watching
that
the
way,
Titans,
but yeah,
yeah, you're
sort of
not
similar.
gonna you're not gonna enjoy that.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't set out to watch any of the Vols game on Saturday, but I was with my sister and her husband, and they were watching college football, and that was fine. I had, was, her dog was laying in my lap, and I was reading and clipping coupons, and going through some of my gaming magazines. I've got a backlog of gaming magazines that I'm trying to go through. And so, I was occupied, and so it was kind of nice. Maybe I'll watch a little bit of it. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of taking it day by day.
So what are you gaming at the moment? Is there a game? Has to
And,
be a game. There's always a game.
there's always a game. Today I played this MMORPG that I play called ESO, and
Elder Scrolls. Come on.
yes, the Elder Scrolls Online. It's a an online game where there's multiplayer, and there's something that I had been intending to do and been intending to finish up on. It's called, if you play that game, it's called Cadwell's Gold. So I completed it and got Cadwell's funny little hat, which I'm ridiculously excited to have. I'm going to wear it forever.
Forever.
Ever.
So have you posted that article you said you were going to post, the quote unquote last
I
article?
haven't finished it yet. It's there's no hurry on it in terms of it's not the kind of content that is is all that. I mean, it's timely, but it's not that timely. And so I haven't finished it yet. I definitely need to do that. But no, I have not posted it because I haven't filed it because I haven't finished it.
Hi.
Oh, where did you go?
I, I disappeared.
Now there's two of you down
Yeah, I
there.
know. It kicked me out for some reason. So
Huh.
maybe it's a sign we're near the end.
Uh,
The article, though, you were talking about it. You probably already got through the whole thing.
No, I just said I haven't done it yet. I haven't finished it yet, but hopefully
Hmm.
soon.
Okay. Well, good to know. So, not Sports by Sharona anymore, huh? It's
No,
Sharona
never.
SCN, right?
Sharona SCN. Apparently, I'm not verified yet. Twitter hating on Sharona always.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans tweet at her during the game, but be respectful. Respectful. That's the way you treat.
Yes, please tweet at me. I just love it.
So Zach underscore law and then ZachOnSports.com. I've actually posted 2 or 3 weeks in a row about beer, and I guess I owe one this week, and maybe I'll see what the whole situation is down south when I'll be there next week. So no show next week, but then the following week we'll get back. And maybe we'll get one of them their guests on there. You know, it'd be nice to get Jen on here
Yeah.
to talk about the dysfunctional Dallas Cowboys and Jared Jones.
I saw they got their butt kicked.
As somebody didn't come up this week. Yeah, by the Falcons. Yeah, they certain players in your team, you lose them and it doesn't go well. So, well, thank you, Sharona, for being on again, and thanks for the listeners and watchers. And good night, and kiss my grits.